Hello there. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Great, great, great. So, I hope you have had a good start of the day. Great. Okay, first of all, tell me, can you all listen to me and are you all able to see me very, very clearly? Give me a thumbs up for that. Like this. Great, great. All right. Okay, so my name is Minnie. Yes, my name is Minnie. And we are going to be talking about a lot of things in these sessions and a couple of more sessions to come. But before we really start off with it, I guess some of us are still joining, so we would wait for a couple of moments before starting off. So, what? What can we talk about? Yeah, what did you have for breakfast today, all of you? I hope you had a healthy one, healthy breakfast. Yes, good. Not so healthy. Yeah, great. Great. That's good that your mom is making some really yummy as well as healthy food. So, now that you have had a very nice and healthy breakfast, I am pretty sure you're all geared up and you're all set for a nice session together, all of us, right? Right? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Great. Okay. Now, like I told you, my name is Minnie. And in this session and a couple of more sessions to come, we would be we would be learning about the art of public speaking. All right. Are we all in this together? You're excited. You all want to know. You all want to learn. That's great. That's great. So I'll just share the screen here so that you can all see. Yeah, here it is. Great. Can you all see the screen? Give me a thumbs up for that. Yeah, you can write that in the chat box as well if you're facing any problem. Great, great. So we are all set now. So we are going to be talking about and we are going to be learning about, like I said, public speaking, the art of public speaking. What is public speaking? How do we prepare a speech? How do we prepare for a speech? How do we deliver a speech in a very impressive way, in a very confident way? What should be our body language during a speech, and a lot more. So, what is public speaking? First of all, okay, you can write that. What do you think is public speaking? Okay, all right. Yes, that's right. Now, see, public speaking is something where you are giving a speech, you are giving a message to an audience. Audience is right in front of you, and you have to deliver the message in a very, very impressive fashion. And it should be something really worth listening to. Now, I'm pretty sure in your classrooms, you must have done some assignment which must have been assigned to you by your tutor, by your educator rather, where you have to do a show and tell, or maybe you are asked to share your experiences which you just have had in a vacation or something of that sort, right? And you move in front of your classroom facing your own friends and class fellows and maybe some of your teachers, and you tell them about whatever you have had, the experience of a vacation or the show and tell, right? In a very strict sense, it is not really public speaking, but it is pretty close. At that time, I am pretty sure all of you must have felt that slight shivering in the tummy, as if there are 1,000 butterflies all of a sudden, all of them fluttering at the same time. That's shiver, yeah? Yes. Sometimes you feel that you're out of breath. You are not able to catch up with your breath, and you sometimes go blank. Yes, that is the fear that we face, the fear that we have when we are standing in front of an audience and speaking. This fear is so common. It is so common, and everybody has it, including me, you, everyone. This fear is called as glossophobia. Can you see the spelling here? Great, great. Glossophobia. Glossophobia is a word which means the fear of speaking in public. Phobia, we all know. Phobia means the fear of anything. So this fear of speaking in public, it is so common to us all that it has got its name. And what we just did, we just added a new word to our vocabulary. So repeat with me, glossophobia. Yes, means fear of public speaking, of speaking in public, any which way. Glossophobia. So when you repeat it a couple of times, the word gets registered in your brain and you do not forget it. So we just added a new word to your vocabulary. We'll be doing such things a lot, a lot. So sometimes this fear is so much, and we all react to this fear in different ways. Some of us might even forget our name, forget to tell our audience our own name and just rattle out with the speech. Some of us might forget where, how, and how do I start the speech, how, what to speak. Sometimes it may so happen that we don't introduce the topic and just start from somewhere in between. Sometimes we go absolutely blank, we freeze. So all of you might be wondering that if we go for public speaking, can we overcome this fear? Can this fear be ever managed? Can we really beat this fear and come out as a successful speaker? Well, yes, there are a certain, practice sessions. There are a couple of techniques that we can have where we can overcome this fear. We can lock this fear somewhere in some compartment of our brain and just forget about it. Yeah. And become an impressive speaker. Secondly, the question is, okay, we manage the fear, we somehow, tame it, and we learn to, live with it. Is public speaking challenging? The task itself, is it difficult? Is it challenging? Well, I wouldn't say it is difficult. Yes, it is challenging, but challenging in a very, very positive way. When you accept this challenge and you make an effort towards it, you will see that there is a change in your whole personality. When you go through the whole process of public speaking, when you make a lot of efforts, you read a lot, you gain knowledge, you feel that your confidence level has increased. It's not just one speech that will bring the change. Yes, I must say, a couple of such speeches, couple of practice sessions that you undergo, which bring the change, and the change gets reflected in your personality. And of course, when you deliver the speech, it all gets reflected. You look much more confident, you look much more impressive, you are absolutely, your speech becomes really captivating. You capture the attention of your audience. Now, the third question and the final one is, can the art of public speaking be mastered? I'm not going to answer that because you are going to find that yourself. All right. So are we all set? So first thing that we learned up till now, are you all with me? Are we on the same page? Please give me a thumbs up if you are. Great, great. First thing we learned is that yes, public speaking can be managed. We can master this art. Now, why we have that fear when we stand up in front of a crowd? Can you may have some guesses here? You can write in the chat box. Yeah. All right. We fear that we might forget. One, we fear that the public, I mean the audience, they may laugh at you because you forgot something, or maybe you fumbled for some words or something like that. The actual reason of that fear is, you come in front of an audience, you stand there, and there is maybe 20 people or 50 people with all their eyes staring in your face, all at the same time, hoping, expecting that something worthwhile listening to is going to be delivered now. That moment, all those eyes looking at you, that scares you. Now, does that mean that maybe the please audience, please close your eyes? Only ears have to do the job. So maybe you just close the eyes while I speak and later you can go ahead. Or maybe even better, I will close my eyes and speak to you. Now, how am I looking when I'm closing my eyes and speaking to you? I can see you are giggling, all of you. Yes, we cannot do that. Jokes apart, yes, eyes have to be open because most of the times we are talking with our eyes and listening with our eyes too at the same time. So, bottom line, we need to learn to face our fear and master it. Okay? Which is why the process of public speaking, we need to understand how the process goes, what all is involved, what are the steps in it, right? Okay, so the first thing is the speech itself. Yes, now what is speech? We'll come to that. The second step that come in this whole process of public speaking is delivering the speech. Once you are ready with your speech, what you do is you actually go and deliver. You stand on a stage, on a podium, face the audience, and you deliver the speech. Second step is that. And third step is Q&A session. Q&A session as in question and answer session, which usually immediately follows the speech. Okay, so these are the three you can call elements, you can call it steps that are involved in this whole process of public speaking. I'm so sorry. All right. Now coming to the first thing, which is the speech itself. So what is a speech? What do you think when you are speaking in public? What is a speech? Okay, speech is basically the message that you wish to deliver, that you plan to deliver to your audience, that you plan to convey to your audience. Now, that message, maybe it depends on what kind of topic has been assigned to you by your educator at school, or maybe you have chosen it for yourself. The speech may be largely informative, where you are making aware your own audience about a topic. You are giving them information, you are giving them facts and data and maybe figures, events. The speech may also be, again, depending on the topic that you have, it may be such that wherein you have to present your own ideas, your point of views, right? Or the speech may contain a lot of arguments. Supposing there is a topic in and you have decided to speak maybe against it or maybe in favor of it. It may be an event, it may be a personality, it may be something, and you have decided that you have to speak in favor of that topic. So you present your arguments, support it with a lot of evidence or examples or some events or some facts to convince the audience that your argument is strong enough, and you come to a logical conclusion after that. So your speech may contain some of these or maybe one of these elements. So now are we clear what speech is largely? Okay. Now, did you notice there is one thing in common in whatever topic you choose or whatever topic has been given to you, that the main message may be, it may be just a couple of sentences, but that message needs to be supported with a lot of details, lot of data or figures or facts or events, and a lot of supporting maybe examples, so that you make a good speech and then deliver. The message may be just, the topic itself may be the message. It may be just 2-3 sentences, but then you have to develop it in the form of a speech. Now, how do we do that? Once you have the topic, you need to start preparing the speech. All right, so what do? We need to collect a lot of information and details about that topic. How do we do that? Maybe you have some books or magazines at your place, or maybe a newspaper wherein some information relating to your topic is contained, from where you can read it. So these are the resources which you can use to collect the relevant information for your topic. Yeah. Supposing, I'm sorry, I don't have the book, or maybe there is not sufficient information in the newspaper, then what do I do? All right. What do we do is, yes, you guessed it right, the internet. You go to maybe Google and you start searching about the topic. Now, there is just one thing that I wanted to share. There's nothing wrong with going on Google and looking for the right amount of looking for the information, whatever you are looking for. Uh, it so happens that I felt that the quantum of information that is there is just too overwhelming. It is so overwhelming that sometimes we feel absolutely bogged down and utterly confused with what to choose, how to filter out the information. There is just too much of it, and what all I'm going to include in my speech. And that's where we feel a bit frustrated. So I would suggest that if you feel that way while searching on Google, what you can do is, there is one more search engine, Kiddle Search. Yes, Kiddle Search, Kiddle, Kiddle Search. Now, this particular search engine is very, very user friendly. It contains just the right amount of information with nice illustrations and graphics for you to understand, easy to follow language, not too many details which may be not so useful for you or for your topic. So it just has the correct and just the right amount of information there. So maybe you can check it out and use it for your researches and preparing for your speech. Now that we have the resource ready with us, which could be, yes, Google, which could be a book or magazines, or maybe some other site that you just visited, right? So what do we need to do? I go to Google. There are, let's say, first, the search presents me with first 5 or 6 sites, and I decide that, okay, I will visit a couple of sites, let's say the bbc.com or the National Geographic, or some news site which has something relating to that event or topic. What do I do? You need to read the information written over there. Yes, it may be a very lengthy article. It may be a very lengthy passage that is given there, but you have to read it. This is just not reading the topic. This is like you are researching about that topic. Now, what do I mean when I say research? It is already there. You are not researching, but you are researching in your own way. You read it a couple of times, then you go to some other site, maybe some other book which contains a similar information, which contains something relevant to your topic. You read it again. It doesn't matter. See, if you visit some other site, you may feel that this is getting repetitive. I already read it somewhere, so skip it. No, don't do that. Read it again. No matter if it is getting repeated, it has a benefit. When you're reading it once more, when you are going through it again and again and again, all the information is getting registered here somewhere in your heart and mind. And the thing is, you will be able to absorb all that information. The moment you start absorbing that information, the moment you really it is going percolating down, you will feel much more confident. You will feel that, okay, I know about what I'm going to say. I know about what I'm going to talk about. I know something about this topic. The more you read about it from different sources, you will also be able to establish connections between different details that are there in that topic, which are covered by that topic. You'll be able to establish connections and connecting. You'll be able to connect the dots that are there between different topics, between different subtopics and subtopics. And during that process, you will be able to create a mental imagery of how you are going to start it, how you are going to introduce your topic, how you are going to talk about it. If you do not do your research on your own, that conviction about that topic will not come, and you will not be able to really convince your own audience because you yourself are not convinced. So you need to research about that topic on your own. A lot of time and effort goes into research, which is absolutely fine, which is why we say that the moment you know your topic, or the moment you choose your topic, you have to start there and then. Do not lose any time, and do a little bit every day. Okay. Now, when you are reading about the topic, when you are, it may happen that there are certain details which you are not able to follow. It is fine. It is not possible for us to know everything about everything. It is fine that you're not able to follow. You may take help from your parents or your older siblings or maybe your educators. It's absolutely fine. See, it may so happen that those extreme details are anyway not required for your speech. Those, they may not be that relevant for your speech. So it is absolutely fine. You're not able to follow certain things, but do read it. Do your own research. That ways you will be able to gather quite a good amount of information, quite a good amount of data you will be able to collect. And from that collected data, you need to just extract the relevant information, the relevant details, which you are going to put in your speech. That's it. Okay. So what did we do up till now? We chose our topic, or maybe whatever the topic was given to us, after which we decide where all to search for the topic. If I have some book or some magazine, or I'm going to search on the internet, or maybe all of these. That depends. Yeah. Now, once you have gathered the information that, okay, this much I'm going to take from this resource, this much passage I'm going to take from this site, that way you have gathered the information. You may have downloaded it, you might have taken a printout, you might have, just copy pasted it, any which way. Then what do? We read it and we reread it. You are done the research work when you decided where all you are going to look for the information, the variety of sites or the variety of books. That was the research part. You collected the information from different sources, after which you read it a couple of times, whatever information you have gathered. Don't worry about the quantum. Don't be bogged down. Don't think that I have to speak so much, I can't even remember. No, don't worry. You are not going to anyway use all that information for your speech, because your duration of speech may be, let's say, 2 minutes or 5 minutes, at the most 10 minutes. Yeah. At school level, at graduation levels and higher classes, it's something else. All right. So now you know that there is quite a lot of information. Not all you are going to include it in. So what am I going to do with all that information? It is just so mind-boggling that too much of reading I have already done. When you have already read it a couple of times, a lot of information is already stored. You remember a lot of things about it. You have internalized the details of the topic. Okay, so I would suggest when you are reading it, read it as if you are reading a story, because you are going to present it to your audience in a story-like fashion. If you do not present it in a story-like fashion, trust me, your audience is not going to be interested. Everyone wants to listen to a story. Everyone wants to hear a good story. But how do I make a story? Let's say if about the speech is about, let's say, Egypt. What's the story about Egypt? Well, you make one out of it. Whatever the historical details you have collected, you present them in a story-like fashion. That will be sufficient for you to capture the audience's attention. Okay. So we have collected the data, we have collected the information, we did our research, after which we have read the information as well from all the sources that we have gathered. After which, what do we do? I have all the information, but how do I go about it? How do I start it? Okay, so what do we do is we make a mind map. Why do we make a mind map? Yes, you all have done. I see you all have done. You all know about what mind map is. What do we do is, see, we have read about it now. In order to present in front of an audience, I need to know what am I going to speak first? What am I going to speak about second? What is going to be the third subtopic? What is going to be the fourth thing? How am I going to decide that? So for that, once you have read it, what you do is you just write down the topic on a piece of paper, after which you need to answer a couple of questions. What, where, when, how, maybe who, which, like this. You place it around the topic. And from the information that you have just gathered, you answer all these questions. Answer the what, answer the why, answer the who, answer the where, answer the which. Once you have placed all the answers, and where are those answers? Those are there, right there with you in the information that you just gathered, in the information that you just read. The moment you do that, you will be able to see for yourself. You will not have to take anybody's help. You will be able to see for yourself that what should come first logically, what should come second logically. The second should lead to me to the third one. The third should follow into the fourth one, just like a river flows, just like a story flows, right? This is called as sequencing. We sequence all the events of our speech. We sequence the details of our speech in this fashion. It may so happen that my speech does not have many events. My speech does not have much details. It's just that I'm presenting my ideas about something. It's just that I'm presenting some arguments in favor or against of a topic. What do I do then? In that case, also, you need to organize those ideas. You need to organize your thoughts again with the help of a mind map. Same thing you'll do. You'll write the topic on a piece of paper, after which what all ideas you have, see, they're all randomly floating in your brain. So you need to just jot down those ideas, or maybe the pointers, not the whole idea, because otherwise it's going to be too long. So you just write the pointers of those ideas, whatever you have, the logic, valid points, the justification, the examples, anything that you have, you just write in the form of pointers on a piece of paper, right? You have the topic right at the top, and all the ideas, your views, the arguments you are going to present, all that written there. Yeah. Now look at it. You will know which argument I'm going to place first, how that argument is connected to the other one, which should come second. Okay. When the second argument, I'm done talking about the second argument, how it is going to lead me to the third one. That will tell you which should be the third one, and so on and so forth. This is how we do sequencing. This is how we do organization of our thoughts. I know some of you are not really comfortable at this point of time that how exactly are we going to do that? How exactly are we going to, sequence my ideas and organize my thoughts? Don't worry. We'll be taking a couple of, demo topics, and we'll be actually making a mind map. We'll be actually organizing our thoughts. We'll be actually writing down what, where, when, which, who, and answering them, and then putting, the sequence, like this is number one, this is number second, this is the third, this is the fourth, and so on and so forth. We'll be actually doing, meaning we will be applying these learned concepts actually in a topic, so that we know how does the whole process work. So I want to know, are we all on the same page? Are we all together? Give me a thumbs up if you are. Great. So up till now, what have we learned? Research about the topic from variety of sources, lots of sources. Okay. Never be bogged down by the research that you have to do, because that's where the key is. That's where something, which is going to give you a hell a lot of confidence for your speech. It will entirely, turn your personality into something really different if you do your research well. Your speech may be just maybe 1 or 2 minutes, but the research may take a couple of days. The reading is going to take a couple of hours. So don't shy away from researching. It's the key to a good speech. It's the key to the confidence that present, the confidence with which you present in front of an audience. So first thing, we researched our topic well. Secondly, we reread, and reread about our topic really well, really thoroughly. If you are stuck somewhere, don't shy away from asking help. Thirdly, we have organized our thoughts in the form of a mind map and sequenced it. Once we have sequenced it, you know which is going to come first, what is going to come second, what is going to come third. Now you have written it, all right, but that is only in pointers, it is only in short. Now what do you do is, and I would suggest that you actually use a pen and paper rather than your laptop. You actually, you must write it down. Write what down? The thoughts that you have just organized, the ideas that you have just sequenced, the mind map that you have just created. It's only a small drawing there on the piece of paper, right? You need to jot down, you need to write down all that is there in the mind map. Okay, and while you are writing it, try to make it a little elaborate so that your thoughts are complete. No half sentences. The idea should in should get reflected from your sentences in a complete fashion. All right, so you actually sit and write down the whole speech for yourself. Yes, you are going to write the speech for yourself. All the interesting movies like The Croods or other animation movies like Toy Story. Do you think that they just started with making the movie? No. The first thing in a movie that is done is they write the script. What all characters are going to be there? What are they going to be talking about? How are they going to say it? When are they going to say it? But what are they going to say? Each and everything is written. Each and every dialogue that is going to be delivered is written. Same way, you need to write your speech down on a piece of paper. Okay. How can you write it down? Because you have just already prepared all the material that you need to write. So it's like a skeleton you have already made, and you need to stuff it with all the flesh, right? Okay, now once you have written it, and trust me, your mama is going to be really happy when she sees you writing, a passage or so, or maybe a couple of pages. That is going to be the most happy day for her. She's seeing you writing. Please do not type it. Make it a habit that you actually take a pencil and paper and write. Yes, it's tough task, but it is. That will also help you with your writing speed. You will know how long are you going to take to write that much. Okay, but don't burden yourself with the whole task. It is absolutely fine that one day you sit and write only some part of that speech. Let it rest. Give yourself a break, and maybe the next day, or maybe after a couple of hours, when you feel like, when get a couple of more ideas, that this is how I'm going to connect my first idea to the other. Wow, that's great. And you jot it down. Likewise, the third and the fourth and the fifth and so on. This is how you elaborate your speech. You actually write it down. The benefit, one of the benefits of writing down your speech is, once you write something, very rarely it will happen that you forget it. You will remember each and everything that you have written. That is one of the benefits of writing down your speech. And of course, your mama is going to be really happy. Now, once you have written the speech, I would suggest, and please do, you read your speech loudly, not just in your mind, not just, don't mumble. You read it loudly, everything that you have written. You know what will that do? You will be able to hear yourself reading what you have written. The moment you do that, you will be able to see for yourself that, okay, this is where I'm missing something. Here is where the idea needs to be completed. I have only partially written my idea. Because while writing down, what are you doing is you are transferring your thoughts from your brain, from your heart to a piece of paper, on a piece of paper. Okay? So once you read it, you will see that somewhere you have missed out. Maybe you have repeated the same idea a couple of times, so you need to remove it. So you are checking your own work. So you need to read it aloud at least once, at least I would suggest maybe twice you read it. Now, when you know where all, certain changes are required, you make those changes. You remove whatever is not required, you remove whatever has been repeated, and you create a second draft of your speech. Usually the second draft of such speech is, the final one, and you do not really have to make any more changes in that. When you read it aloud, you will also be able to know how much time you are taking to read that speech, because that is exactly the time you are going to take when you deliver the same speech. Yeah. So you will know that if it's time, suppose you have been allotted a 5-minute slot and you finish it too early, it's not really a very good planning of time and the content that you are going to deliver. You should have enough content to cover 5 minutes, which means you need to add more details. You need to add some more subtopics supporting the details. See, some of the details may be directly related to the topic. Some of the details may be supporting those topics which are there directly connected to the topics, which means you need to put more stuff in the skeleton. Okay. If suppose you see that I have overshot, time allotted was only 5 minutes, and the content that I have written, the content that I'm coming up with is taking 8 minutes. See, couple of seconds here and there, it is fine. But you cannot overshoot your time by a couple of minutes. When you are given 5 minutes, you are taking 8 minutes, which means shed some weight, shed some weight. You have grown fat, so shed some weight. So some of the details which may not be that relevant. Maybe you can, if you're given 2 examples, so just give one example, and that is how you manage your time. This is also, something that trains you with time management, to manage your time. Yeah, which is why you need to read your speech aloud so that it will help you in 2 ways. First, you will be able to listen what you are saying, how you are sounding. All right. And secondly, it will also help you to manage your time, divide your topics accordingly to the given time. Now your speech is ready, you have read it aloud, you have seen that, okay, the time that is there is just fine, which means that your speech is absolutely ready and you are good to go. Are you good to go? Well, we'll see. Okay, so coming up with the recap of what all did we learn today, what all the concepts we learned today. First, we learned about about a new word we added to the vocabulary, and that was glossophobia. Second, we learned that we need to research about the topic from as many sources as possible. Thirdly, once we have gathered the information about our topic, we need to filter out what all is there out of that information, what all is relevant for us, and what all can be delivered in the given time. So we make a mind map, we sequence the ideas, we organize our thoughts, and then we write down the speech. All right. Are we at the same page, all of us? Good, good, great. Now, one little task for you, and that is, suppose, basically the task is so that you are able to apply the concept that we just discussed, that we just learned. You apply it practically. Okay. So I would suggest that you write a speech, maybe about how to make a lemonade or a smoothie or a cold coffee or espresso or that any drink of your choice, any beverage of your choice. You do not have to actually go and make it. The task is only to research, like we discussed, on net or from maybe a recipe book that your mom might have. You just go through it, you read it, and you make a mind map. Try and make it. It's okay if you're not able to make it, because we are anyway going to make it in some of the forthcoming sessions. And you write it down. Now, what are you going to write it? What are you going to write down? First, how it's made. Secondly, what all benefits or use that beverage has for us. All right. The two things. You may want to add a couple of more details here and there. All right. Or maybe espresso or maybe a milkshake or anything of your choice, or maybe a brownie, maybe a cake. You don't actually go in the kitchen and start making it. I would suggest that you research. There's no need to actually go and take all the trouble of cooking something or making something. That's not what is really the objective. You need to research about it, and you need to restrict your research to largely two things. First, how to make it, and what all health benefits this thing has, or maybe it just and add some more details to it which you think can be added to it. All right. And once you have prepared your speech, you jot it down. You have made a mind map and you jot down your speech. You are ready with the speech. You may post it on the Yellow Class portal, and you tell me how you felt, what all problems you faced in this. We meet after a couple of sessions. In the next sessions, we will meet and we'll see what we are going to do. Okay, bye bye. Great.